So myself is Srinivas. I'm having 17 years experience. I started my career as Unix administrator. I worked on Unix, Sun Solaris, Linux, HP Unix, IBM AX. I was into storage technologies, Veritas Volume Manager, Veritas Cluster, Veritas Net Backup. Now I'm into the cloud, AWS, Azure, and DevOps. So today's session is for AWS Cloud, Amazon Web Services. So what we are going to cover in AWS is solution architecture. Associate level. Will be covered both professional and associate. Solution architecture. In solution architecture, there is no programming, no development, no programming, no coding. We are going to deal with the infrastructure. So the whole course is divided into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is 35 hours to 40 hours. And phase 2 is 20 to 25 hours. So there are so many services which are available in AWS. More than 60 services, nearly 60 services are available. But from 60 services, we are going to cover nearly 40 services. What about the remaining services? Remaining services for DevOps, remaining services for machine learning. But as per this solution architecture, 40 services are more than enough. So once you cover these 40 services, once you complete these 40 services, you are eligible to keep the minimum 0 to 5 years experience. You can keep the experience up to 5 years. That much stuff services will be covered in solution architect. So total 45, 24 hours, total 60 hours class, nearly about 2 months duration, 2.5 months duration. Right. So before we start AWS Cloud, the first 3 sessions are on AWS. 3 sessions are for AWS. After that, we are going to start the Linux fundamentals, Linux basics. This Linux basis for 1 week. This Linux fundamentals for 1 week. After 1 week of Linux fundamentals, we're going to continue AWS classes. This is about AWS course. Now, I'm going to explain what are the topics we are going to cover in the first session. First, we are going to cover cloud deployment models. What are the cloud deployment models? Cloud deployment models, we have a public cloud, then private cloud, then hybrid cloud. All this comes under cloud deployment models. So what is this public? What is this private? What is this hybrid? Any kind of information, for example, if you go to government organizations, which comes under government services, like registration of your property. Well, registration of property, there's a public and private, both information, like property tax, or income tax, or sales tax, sales or service tax. All these are public, all these are government, related to the government. So All this information will be public. Then what information will be stored in the private? Private information, name of the register. Name of the register is private. They won't be stored in the public. And application information like enter your details of your property. This information, it won't be stored in the public. This information will be stored in the private. Every government organization they are maintaining both public and private. So what private information? Your Aadhaar card details, your phone number, your land registration, name of the register, all this will be stored in the private, and remaining information will be stored in the public. Or else you can take the bank, any like bank loan. You're going to apply for car loan or bank or house loan. What information public, what information private? So for applying the loan, your loan information, that is rate of interest. Rate of interest is public or private? The rate of interest should be public. Everyone should know that what is the rate of interest. That is called public information. Then what private information? Private information, like you have to fill the app, right? Save all your detailed information. What is your name? What is your contact number? Aadhaar card details. That won't be in the public. It will be stored in the private data. Detailed information about customer. This information will be stored in the private. So there's no company without public, without private, or there's no information without public and without private. What is hybrid? Some information will be stored in the public cloud. Some information will be stored in the private cloud. That is called as a hybrid cloud. So this course curriculum is completely designed from the scratch. We'll discuss about what is cloud service, cloud deployment models, and what are the service deployment model. Before that, I want to explain what is public cloud, what is private cloud. Applications are shared publicly. And accessed by all throughout the internet. That is called public. Whether information will be stored in a separate cloud, that is called public cloud. AWS is the public cloud. Azure, GCP, all these are public cloud. Private cloud. Applications can be accessed by only authorized members. That is called as a private. Anyone can't able to see that. Only the authorized members can able to see that information. Applications has less confidential information. Here, application which has highly confidential information. Cost will be less. Private cloud, obviously cost will be less. Public cloud, cost will be high. For private, cost will be high. In order to access any information from public, what is required? Internet. Without internet, you cannot access. Internet is mandatory. Here, either internet or internet with secure IP address. With secure IP address. Sometimes we need a dedicated line between the data centers, between the two branches. More customers, more applications. Less applications, less customers. So if any customer who are paying the services for both private and public, that is called as a hybrid. What is the meaning of hybrid? Which maintains both public and private information. Every MNC company, they have their own public cloud, they have their own private cloud. So going forward in AWS, we'll discuss what information will maintain the public cloud, what information will maintain the private cloud, what is the real time, all this stuff we'll discuss later in AWS. So this is about the cloud deployment models. Then we'll talk about cloud service deployment models. What are the service deployment models? Those are ES. What is ES stands? Infrastructure as a service. Then PaaS. PaaS stands platform as a service. Then SaaS stands software as a service. These are comes under service deployment models. So before we start cloud, either AWS or Azure cloud or GCP cloud, you need to understand cloud deployment models. What is public, what is private, what is hybrid, and service deployment models. What is infrastructure as a service? What is platform as a service? What is software as a service? Infrastructure as a service. What is the meaning of infrastructure? Infrastructure nothing but the servers, storages, networks like switches, routers. All this comes under infrastructure. In AWS, everything, not only AWS, in cloud, everything is a service. Your keyboard is a service, mouse is a service, monitor is a service. Everything is a service, either software or a hardware. Everything treated as a service. So infrastructure also a service. Servers are services, storages are services, switches, routers, everything is a service. So if I'm a developer, I want to deploy my application like Flipkart, Amazon, all net banking, all these are comes under application. So you want to deploy application, I need a server, right? That is called infrastructure. If you have a server, doesn't enough. I need a storage. Because database, we are going to install the storage box, separate storage box. I need a storage devices. Servers and storage doesn't enough. I need a network. In order to access my application from remote, I need a network. For that, I need a switches or routers. This comes under infrastructure. So you want to deploy an application, I need to purchase the servers, I need to purchase the storages, I need to purchase switches and routers. These servers are very expensive. The infrastructure is very expensive. Rather than I purchase this infrastructure, I'll ask the cloud, please provide the infrastructure. Please provide the infrastructure for me. I'll deploy my application. That is called infrastructure as a service. So everything is powered by, all the infrastructure is powered by our AWS cloud. For example, buying the infrastructure, buying the servers, storages, switches, routers, very expensive. I'm a normal person. I can't spend crores of amount. Then I'll go to AWS cloud. I'll go to AWS cloud. I'll ask the AWS, I need the infrastructure to deploy my application. So for infrastructure, what is required? I need a server. So here, instance nothing but a server. Instance nothing but a server. So physical server. So you go to launch instance, click on launch instance. Launch instance means launch server. So what hardware you require? What hardware you require? That is called instance type. T2.micro is the one server. What's the hardware configuration? One virtual CPU, 1 GB RAM. One virtual CPU, 1 GB RAM. Is it, can I deploy my application with one CPU, 1 GB RAM? No. It's like a desktop or workstation. It's like a desktop or workstation. To deploy the application, I need multiple CPUs. So for that, we can go for a server like, for example, M2, M2.x large, 2 CPUs, 17 GB RAM, 4 CPUs, 34 GB RAM. This is called as a server. This is called as infrastructure. They're going to provide you server, what hardware configuration you required. You can choose any hardware configuration. This is called as a compute capacity. What is the meaning of compute capacity? The processor and RAM we call compute capacity. My laptop compute capacity is 1 CPU, 16 GB RAM. That is called compute capacity. So what kind of compute capacity you require? I can take this server from AWS cloud. If you go to C series, four CPUs, 16 GB RAM, 256 GB RAM, 64 CPUs. This is called compute capacity. So this is called infrastructure. They're going to provide you everything, not only the servers, they're going to provide you switches, routers, network, everything. That is called infrastructure as a service. Rather than you purchase this infrastructure, I can take this infrastructure from AWS cloud. That is called infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service. If I purchase the server, physical server, which costs 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, if I purchase the server, can I deploy my application? No. I need to install the operating system. What operating system? Either Windows or Linux. You have to install operating system, right? Windows or Linux. That is called platform. Platform means what? Your operating system. That is called platform as a service. If I want to go my own data center, I need to purchase this infrastructure. After purchase infrastructure, I need to install this operating system, Windows or Linux. Is it free of cost? No. I need to purchase this Windows license software, Linux license software. It's very expensive. Instead of that, I'll take this operating system from AWS cloud. So while launching the instance nothing but a server, you can see here what operating system you want. Amazon Linux, Mac OS also one of the Unix operating system, Linux operating system, Ubuntu Linux. You want Windows, you can choose Windows, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux. This is called what? Platform as a service. So they're going to provide you infrastructure, they're going to provide you platform. For example, I'm selecting Amazon Linux. I'm selecting Amazon Linux. You can choose whichever you want. Here, T2.macro, I told you that it's a workstation, it's a client. Because of 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, you can't deploy your application with 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Only for practice purpose. That is called as a free tier. Free tier means what? No charges applicable. Throughout AWS course, we are going to discuss only this T2.macro because of free tier. Yes, if you're learning DevOps required, while in DevOps we have some tools like Jenkins, SonarQube, it required minimum 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM. So in that case, we are going to select M2.media. M2.x large, PS large. It is not free. It is not free. You can see the 0.305 US dollars per hour. Whatever charges in AWS, those charges are hourly based, not monthly or yearly. They're going to charge hourly based. So, but AWS, throughout AWS, we are going to select free tier. That is called T2.micro. Nano, 1 CPU, 0.5 GB RAM. This is 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. So I select the platform, that is operating system. I select the infrastructure. What is key pair? We'll discuss later when we start AWS. Everything you take default launch instance. Guys, don't bother about this. What is this instance? Everything we'll discuss later. We have a separate topic on this. Just I'm explaining what is infrastructure, what is platform. So my server is ready, my infrastructure is ready, my platform also ready. Connect, copy this SSH, go to command prompt, Windows command prompt, go to downloads folder. This is called platform as a service. What is platform? Platform nothing but operating system. Operating system is powered by the AWS. But to install operating system, I need infrastructure. Infrastructure also powered by the AWS. So this is called platform as a service. So I don't need to purchase infrastructure here. I don't need to purchase any licensed software, Windows or Linux. Everything I'm taking from AWS. That is called platform as a service. Software as a service. What is the software as a service? To deploy our application, I need a Java, I need a Python. Without Java, without Python, we can't deploy application. So they're going to provide software like Java, .NET, Python, C or C++. What software you require, that also going to provided by your AWS. Everything is licensed software. If I go for software as a service, they'll give the infrastructure, they'll give the platform, they'll give the software. For example, you're trying to float a company, MNC company. Before I float the MNC company, I need to have a domain for that. I need to have a domain for that. And I need to have a mail ID for that. Then what I have to do, I have to take one server, purchase one server, install the Windows or Linux operating system, configure mail server. If it is Windows we have a Exchange. Exchange is a mail server. Or we call it as a Exchange a mail server in Microsoft. In Unix or Linux, we have a SunMail server, SunMail or QMail server, which is called mail server to send and receive the mails. It is not one-day job. I have to purchase the server, I have to install operating system and set up this mail server. For that, to set up mail server, I need Linux administrator. It is not a one-day job. Rather than you purchase the server, you recruit the employees to set up this mail server. Rather than that, you go to Gmail. My company name is Wisdom. I get the mail ID wisdominfo@gmail.com. With my company name, I'm going to register one mail ID in gmail.com. This is called software as a service. I'm not going to purchase any infrastructure here. I'm not going to purchase any platform here. I'm not going to install any software here. Everything is ready-made. Everything is ready-made. Go to Gmail, create an account with your company name. That is called software as a service. Everything is powered by your AWS cloud. This is about service deployment model. So going forward in detail, we'll see that what are these, right?
Srinivas, it should be like any name @companyname.com, right? If it is company name @gmail.com means it's like normal Gmail, right? Even we
It's
have it.
it's a normal Gmail, generally wisdom.com. Wisdom.com. It is a
Yeah.
domain of the company.
Yeah.
But I had to purchase this domain from godari.com. I had to purchase this page. I had to recruit the web developers to develop a web page. It will take a lot of time. Instead of that, I'm using the gmail.com as a service, software as a service. So that Gmail server, web server, mail server, everything is set up by the Gmail. So we are not going to set up anything here. They are all ready-made services. That is called software as a service. Another example for software as a service, there is a Kubernetes. Kubernetes is one of the service in DevOps. To set up the Kubernetes, I need minimum four CPUs and 8 GB RAM. Minimum 4 CPUs, 8 GB RAM. Your laptop, you may have 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, but only one CPU. You have only one CPU. With one CPU, you cannot set up Kubernetes. So go to the internet. There is a k8.com. Kubernetes means k8.com. Here the server is already ready-made. You go there, register yourself, give your mail ID, register yourself. I can use this server for 3 hours. Maximum we can use this server for only 3 hours. This is called software as a service. Did you purchase the server? No, right? Did you install the software Kubernetes? No, right? Platform is ready, software is ready, infrastructure is ready. You can go there, you can use this server. This is called software as a service. Everything they're going to provide. Right. Going forward, we'll discuss more details. It's the only demo session. Right. Now, we'll talk about once we complete this cloud deployment models, service deployment models, then we'll talk about the first service called EC2. EC2 stands Elastic Cloud Computing or Compute Cloud. Don't say cloud computing, compute cloud. Most of the people, they say that Elastic Cloud Computing is wrong. You have to tell that EC2 means what? Elastic Compute Cloud, not cloud computing. As I told you that it is nothing but a server. Elastic EC2 is nothing but a server. We call it as a instance. Instance nothing but a virtual machine. VM stands virtual machine. This virtual machine we are creating from physical server. So to create a VM, I need a physical server. From physical server, we are creating a virtual machine. This virtual machine, we call it as an instance. In AWS, we call it as an instance. In Azure Cloud, we call it as a virtual machine. In GCP Cloud, we call it as a virtual machine. Either virtual machine or instance, both are same. In order to create a virtual machine or instance, I need a physical server. So for that, you need to understand what is virtualization. We have a separate topic on this. What is physical server? What is virtualization? What is virtual machine? All this stuff we'll discuss later. This is the first service we are going to discuss in AWS. Because in AWS, every service is depend on EC2 only. Just now we discussed that how to launch EC2 means how to launch your instance. I just connected to the instance from Windows client, right? All this connectivity we'll discuss theoretically, practically later. So this is called EC2. So here, these instances, you have to purchase it. So we have a types of instances like spot instance, reserved instance, general purpose instance, or on-demand instance. Throughout the course, we'll discuss about only on-demand instance. Reserved instance we are going to use in the real time. Reserved instances we always use the real time, but as a cloud admin while learning, we are going to discuss only on-demand instance. All these instance purchase options, everything we'll discuss in AWS. It is near about 3 classes. 3 to 4 classes, we'll discuss about this instance. Next, we'll discuss about bootstrapping. For example, tomorrow somebody asks you to set up a web server. Somebody asks you to set up a web server. Not put this. Ask to set up a web server. So launch the instance, install the package for web server, configure configuration file, start the service. Instead of doing all this stuff, while launching instance only, we can write all the steps. That is called scripting. You know shell scripting, you know how to write the script. Write the script in the launching instance. While booting, it executes the script. While booting, it executes the script. Whatever the commands you write in the scripting, those commands will execute automatically. That is called bootstrap. Whatever scripts you want to execute while system is launching, while system is booting, write those scripts in the bootstrapping. So this is called bootstrapping. Those scripts will be executed automatically. And we have a AMI. AMI stands Amazon Machine Image. For example, if you go to AWS Cloud, launch instance, click on launch instance. Whatever operating system you are selecting here, Amazon Linux, Mac OS, this is called AMI. All these are pre-installed images. Whatever is available here, these are the free. But there are some AMIs which is not free available. You have to go to marketplace. This is called AMI. All these are available in the marketplace. These are not free of cost. If you want, you can create our own AMIs. If you go to my AMIs, what is this my AMIs? We can create our own AMIs. Suppose set up a web server. To set up a web server, it will take minimum half an hour, 30 to 40 minutes to set up the web server. Tomorrow somebody asks you, I need 100 web servers. Are you going to spend 40 minutes to set up the web server for 100 servers, 40 minutes for every server? Not required. Set up a one web server, create your AMI, like my AMI. It's a duplicate copy of your server. That is called my AMIs. Whatever setup already done, with that we are going to create your own AMIs. That AMIs we can use for future purpose. That is called my AMIs. Community AMIs. Community AMIs are free of cost. They won't charge for that. The AMIs which are in marketplace, they're going to charge you. But the community AMIs are free of cost. So all this stuff we'll discuss later, how to create community AMIs, how to create by your own AMIs, all this stuff. That is called Amazon Machine Image. And migrating your AMIs from one region to another region. Migration is one of the important tasks. If you're going with 3 to 4 years experience, they'll ask you to migrate your AMIs. So how to migrate AMIs from one location to another location, one region to another region. Here, for example, in AWS, North Virginia is one region. I'm in the North Virginia. Mumbai, Ohio, California, Oregon, Mumbai, all these are regions. Currently, my AMI is in North Virginia. Tomorrow, I want to migrate my AMI from North Virginia to Mumbai location. This is called migration. Migration means what? From one region to another region. Move that server from one region to another region. That is called migration. So migrating AMIs from one region to another region. So migration is there, copying is there, copying the AMIs from one region to another region. We can copy your AMIs, we can migrate your AMIs from one region to another region. So generally, all this tasks for 2 to 3 years experience. If you are joined with 2 to 3 years experience, your roles and responsibilities are creating AMIs, your own AMIs, migrating AMIs from one region to another region, copying AMIs from one region to another region. All this comes under. This is called as a migration. Migration copying. Generally, after learning AWS cloud, Azure cloud, any cloud, there is no projects. I've seen that most of the students, after completion of the course like DevOps or AWS, in their resume, they're going to mention the projects. Project 1, Project 2, Project 3. Most of the students, they come into my office saying that, sir, I keep 4 years experience on AWS, but I never getting any call. I'm not getting any call. What's the reason? When I saw the resume, they mentioned that project 1, Project 2, Project 3. So we are not developers. We are not in development team. We are in the infrastructure. We are managing infrastructure. So in infrastructure side, we don't have any projects. What you need to mention? Roles and responsibilities. In that roles and responsibilities, you have to mention that migrating AMI from one region to another region. This is one role and responsibility. Copying AMI from one region to another region. This is one role and responsibility. So don't mention the projects. If you mention the project, they can understand you have a fake experience. So what you have to mention? You have to mention the roles and responsibilities, which we are going to discuss in AWS entire course. In every service, we'll discuss our roles and responsibilities. Then we'll talk about security groups. Security groups, nothing but a virtual firewall. It's a firewall. What firewall? Virtual firewall. So when I was working as a Linux administrator 10 years back, at that time there was no cloud. We used to work on the firewall. In Linux, we have a firewall called IP tables. IP tables IP6 tables, these are called firewall. So as a Linux admin team, we have to configure these firewalls. What is the meaning of configure firewalls? For example, if I say that service IP table stop, means what? I'm going to stop the firewall. IP table stop. If I stop the firewall, the advantage is anyone can access my server from internet. Service, all the ports are enabled, all the ports are disabled, all the ports are disabled. Anyone can connect to my server from internet because I stopped the firewall. I don't want to allow anyone to connect to my server. Then what I'll do? I'll run the command service IP table start. If I start this IP tables, my server is secured. Why? Because my firewall is up and running. No one can connect to my server from anywhere, from any port throughout the internet because my firewall is running. In the real time, are you going to start the firewall? Are you going to stop the firewall? If you start the firewall, if you stop the firewall, no one can connect to my server from anywhere throughout the internet. Then what the use? So my applications I hosted on internet. My applications want to access by all the internet users. In that case, I need to I need to stop the firewall. If I stop the firewall, anyone can access my application. But real time, we never stop it. We never start it. We are going to configure firewall. What is the meaning of configure firewall? Meaning of configure firewall means allow some network, deny some network. Allow some network, deny some network. Which IP you want to allow, which IP you want to deny. This is called configure firewall. If you are working as a Linux administrator, you need to understand how to configure these IP tables, how to configure these IP6 tables. Everything is a command line. Lot of commands are required. It is not required if you go for AWS. Everything is a graphical mode. So with the help of the security group is going to allow you which ports you want to allow, which ports you want to deny. Which ports to allow, which ports you want to deny. For example, for instance, I set up a web server in the instance, AWS instance. How to set up a web server is very simple. Only one command. Sudo su hyphen switch to the root account. Dollar means normal user, hash means super user. As admin, you always work at the hash prompt. Then yum install package, yum install package up. HTTP is a package for web server. HTTP is a package for web server. Yum install. Then start the service. Service HTTP start. Only 2 steps. So now you go to your instance. Whenever we create the instance, launch the instance, it is going to create two IP addresses. One is public IP, the other one is private IP. In order to access this instance, I need a public IP. Both are running. So private and public IP. There are 2 instances are running. I don't know which instance I set up this web server. 172.31. 172.31, 27.87. Okay. So here you need to take the public IP, not the private IP. Copy the public IP, open the browser. Open the browser, paste the IP address here. We can't able to access. Why? Because for HTTPD web server, the port is 80. The port number is not enabled. The port is not enabled. In AWS Cloud, by default, all the ports are by default disable mode. All the ports are by default disable mode. So we need to configure firewall. Configure firewall means what? You have to configure which ports to allow, which ports to deny. For that, we have a security group. Go to security group, click on the security group, click on edit inbound rules, click on add rule. Rule nothing but you're going to configure which port to allow, which port to deny. So I need to allow HTTPD. Default is block everything. Allows HTTP. Default port is 80. Default port is 80. Click on save rules. Not custom. Allow anywhere. For real time, anywhere also not recommended. It's very dangerous. You have to configure which network to allow. Now you're able to see my web page. Refresh the page. See, this is the web page. You want to set up your own web page, you can set up. So what I'll do, go to cd/etc/var/www/html directory. Create my own index.html file. If you are a developer, if you know the HTML code, HTML, JavaScript, you can write your own file, index.html, then restart the service. Now you go to browser, refresh the page. You're able to see your web page. So that is called security group. Just an introduction class. Don't think that it's a class. Security group is a one day session. We'll explain this later again in detail. So like that, security group is one of the firewall. Under firewall, we have VPC. VPC stands Virtual Private Cloud. VPC stands Virtual Private Cloud. It is also a firewall. What is the difference between security group and VPC? In security group, we can enable which services to allow. HTTPD, Tomcat application, which port to allow, but not which network to allow, which network to deny. That is called VPC. VPC, with the help of VPC, which network to allow, which network to deny. VPC is very, very important service in AWS. Every service is depend on VPC only. Without VPC, we cannot set up any service. So VPC is the hardcore of AWS. Right. Again, we'll talk about load balancer. Load balancer is very, very important topic in AWS. As a fresher, we don't require this service. But if you're going with 3 years, 4 years experience, definitely you need to have strong knowledge on load balancer. In load balancer, we have ALB. ALB stands Application Load Balancer. NLB, Network Load Balancer. What's the meaning of load balancer? Assume that I deploy my application on one physical server. I deploy my application on one physical server. I hosted my application on one physical server. The server is up and running. My application also running. After 2 or 3 months, due to heavy load, heavy network traffic, my server is can't able to handle that much of traffic. My server can't able to handle that much of traffic. So all of a sudden, my application is terminated or down. Why? Because of huge network traffic. If I configure load balancer, whenever there's a load on the server, the traffic will be diverted to another server. The traffic will be diverted to another server. That is called load balancer. If this server also busy, more network traffic, the traffic will be diverted to another server. That is called load balancer. Load balancer is very, very important topic. Without load balancer, there is no IT company in the real time. All your applications are hosted, configured with load balancer. You know that your gmail.com, your Facebook or Amazon, the application never goes down. The Google Pay, Phone Pay never goes down. Why? Because of load balancer. Their applications are running not on one physical server. Applications are running more than one physical server. If one server is busy, the traffic will be diverted to another server. It is also busy. Traffic diverted to another server. That is called as a load balancer. So we have application load balancer. We have network load balancer. For 3 to 4 years experience, you need to have strong knowledge on how to configure this load balancer. So Flipkart, Amazon, those are running on AWS. Why AWS? Why not GCP? Why not Azure? Let's see here. Go to Flipkart. Flipkart. Architecture. You see, this is the load balancer. The traffic comes to load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the load to all these servers. So this is running on, your Flipkart is hosted on AWS cloud. Flipkart, Netflix also they're using AWS cloud. So there is no company, IT company, without this load balancer. Load balancer is very, very important topic. Then we'll talk about RDS. RDS stands Relational Database Service. Before cloud, 10 years back, 10, 15 years back, when there was no cloud, there is separate team for database team, separate network team, separate firewall team, separate OS team, separate backup team. It was before cloud. But the advantage of learning cloud in AWS, we'll discuss about your OS operating system, how to install operating system, how to configure operating system, how to configure services. In AWS, we'll discuss about database, how to install database, how to configure database. In AWS, we can discuss about firewall, how to set up the firewall, how to configure firewall. In AWS, we'll discuss about the storage, how to configure storages, SAN storage area network, NAS network attached storage. In AWS, we'll discuss about backup, how to take the OS backup, database backup, application backup. That means what? Rather than learning these many technologies, learn only one technology that is called cloud. In cloud, we'll discuss everything. Why cloud has a lot of demand? Because one cloud admin can do all this stuff. Either act as a database administrator, we'll discuss about database, will act as a OS administrator, we'll discuss about OS, will act as a network admin, we'll discuss about network, will act as a firewall team, we'll discuss about firewall, will act as a backup team, will act as a storage team, everything will be covered in AWS. So rather than maintaining these many teams, they'll maintain only one cloud employee, one cloud team, which can do all this stuff. In that, RDS also one of the database. Then we talk about EBS volumes. EBS stands Elastic Block Storage. There are two types of storages, block storages and file storage. Block storage and file storage. The difference between block storage and file storage. Block storage, we need to format it. In Windows, we are creating the drive. After drive is created, we need to format the drive. Without formatting, the drive cannot be used. So the drive is what? Block storage. Windows, all the drives are block storage because without format the drive, we can't able to use. File storages. You are keeping your data in Google Drive, your personal data in the Google Drive. Are you formatting the Google Drive? No, right? The Google Drive is the file storage. We don't need to format it. If it is a file storage, we can keep any kind of data. I can keep Linux data. I can keep Windows data. I can keep images. I can keep videos, audio, video files. Everything we can store. That is called file storage. In file storage, we can store anything. So file storage, we have EFS. EFS stands Elastic File System. EBS are the block storage. We need to format it. EFS is the file storage. We don't need to format. And we'll talk about scaling mechanism. Scaling mechanism, very, very important role, important topic in AWS. Load balancer, scaling, auto scaling. Auto scaling is very, very important topic. Tomorrow you join with 3 years, 4 years experience on AWS. Definitely there is one responsibility of configure load balancer, configure auto scaling. In auto scaling, we have vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling, we also called elasticity. Horizontal scaling, we also call scalability. Assume that I launch one server from AWS Cloud, I deploy one application on this instance or server. All of a sudden, my instance is not responding because of lack of memory. Because of lack of CPU, my application not responding. So what I can do is I can increase my hardware capacity. That is called vertical scaling. That is called elasticity. We can increase our hardware, we can increase the RAM, we can increase the processor. That is called vertical scaling. Without any downtime to your application, we can increase our hardware capacity. That is called vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling. When I started my business, initially, I started my business with 2 physical servers because I know that these 2 physical servers are enough to handle the client request. Why we need 2 physical servers? One is enough, right? But in real time, for every server, we need a backup server. If I deploy my application only one physical server, due to some network problem or a hardware problem, if the server not responding, downtime to my end user, downtime to my customer. That's why I'm going to take 2 physical servers and deploy my application to both the physical servers. So this is called backup. Tomorrow, if this server is down, then my customer, they can access my application from this physical server. No downtime to my customer, no downtime to my application. So that's why in the real time, every application will run on more than one physical server. So for my business, initially, I have two servers are more than enough. But later, my customers are increased. These 2 physical servers can't able to handle those many customers. I have to purchase another new server, brand new server, set up the software, infrastructure, software, platform, everything. It will take minimum 10 days, 15 days. So that my server is ready. After 3-4 months, due to huge network traffic, more customers, 3 servers not able to handle, add one more server. It will take again 10-15 days. This is called horizontal scaling. The advantage of AWS is no need to launch this server, no need to set up this server manually. Whenever the traffic increase, it automatically launch new service. Whenever traffic increase, automatically launch. That is called auto scaling. The meaning of auto scaling, launch the new service whenever the traffic increase automatically. If you configure auto scaling. If traffic is reduced, these servers automatically terminate. The servers automatically terminate when the traffic reduces. This is called auto scaling. This is the one of the good feature in AWS. That's why load balancer, auto scaling are very, very important services in real time. So they are the major services. Lot of services, nearly 40 services we are going to discuss. But these services are major services. One more is IAM, Identity Access Management. Identity Access Management and CloudTrail and Route 53. Route 53 nothing but DNS server, name resolution. They are the main services. So nearly we are discussing about 40 services. So 2.5 months duration, total duration. Once you complete this AWS, you are eligible to keep 0 to 5 years experience, 4 to 5 years experience on AWS. That much of stuff we are going to provide. Any questions, guys?
Srinivas, does this course covers DynamoDB and
Yes, yes.
AWS Lambda as well?
Yes, yes. DynamoDB also covered.
So I guess this course will helpful for Java developers to deploy
Yes.
the application to climb the AWS
Yes,
experience.
yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. So we'll continue class tomorrow, same time.
So these notes going to be shared in the drive or somewhere?
The recorded will be shared to you.
Okay. The notes
If
separately
you
also.
want, you can take the snap.
Oh, okay.
Once you register, after 3 days, we are going to start the regular batch.
Okay.
So at that time, I'll share the notes.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
3 sessions for demo sessions, right? So only recorded sessions are available. You can take the snap.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much.
Any questions, guys? Am I clear, everyone?
Sir, one quick question. So how long will be the session? Like how many days will be the course?
I told you, this is 2 phases. Phase 1 is 35 to 40 hours class, and phase 2 is 20 to 25 hours class. It is nearly 2 to end of month duration.
Okay. So if I take this course, like can I give the exam for AWS developer track also?
Definitely, you can go for associate level, associate and professional. Both will be covered.
No, I'm talking AWS architect associate. No,
That's fine.
AWS certified developer track is there too, right?
AWS architect, not the developer.
Okay, this is for AWS architect track.
Yes.
Okay, both like associate and
Professional, both will be covered.
Okay.
And in fact, we have examination center. If you want to write the exam behalf of the student, we can write the exam.
Okay, sir. And the timing is fixed, right? This timing is fixed for this.
This timing is fixed, 9 to 10.
Okay. Thank
One more batch is started. If you're not convenient at 9 o'clock, you can come at 7 o'clock. Already batch was started 1 week, 10 days back.
you.
7 a.m. is the running batch. If you want, you can come at running batch 7 o'clock. If 9 a.m. is not convenient for you.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Any
Okay.
question?
So how many? Yeah, one question. You said you have 7 a.m. batch also running, right? How many classes left?
I told
mean,
you, no, we discussed nearly 10 days classes are over. So we
Okay.
covered EC2 service and EBS volumes. So snapshot we are discussing. So two services are covered, EC2 and EBS. Those two services you can attend 9 o'clock batch, remaining you can attend the 7 o'clock batch. But you want to come for 7 o'clock batch from tomorrow onwards, you have to register yourself at video.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If
Okay,
I
see,
pay the amount, I can attend both the
both the
classes
both the
parallel.
classes parallel, 7 and
Okay.
8.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's the good name?
Ram Narayan.
Okay, see you tomorrow, same time.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Rashekar, Sadhrani. ఈరోజు మధ్యాహ్నం వస్తా అన్నాడు మరి ఎప్పుడు నుంచి తీసుకుంటాడు క్లాస్